Hello. We are at day 2 with the Queens of Nerddom and my bestie over here, Willie. Phoenix Fan Fusion day 2. Today was a good day.
It was.
It was a really good day. After the initial day of the holy crap, this is huge. Guys, I don't know if we talked about it enough yesterday about how Phoenix goes all out. I think we did. How they block off streets and it's still day 2 going. It's just like wow, it's real. Like it's still going. Like it's real.
Mhm.
And yesterday the vendors were talking about how this is the light day. Friday's the light day. I'm like, this is a light day? Really?
Mhm.
No, they weren't kidding, guys. They were not kidding. So we go in today and I was like, God, there's so many people here.
Yeah.
Jeez. There was I touched a lot of bodies today, like that I didn't want to.
Unintentionally.
It wasn't grab. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I wasn't grabbing people. That sounded really bad.
Touched a lot of bodies today.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I mean, you're just like rubbing up on people, and I think the last time I actually experienced that was when my husband Eric was in Korea,
Mhm.
and you just can't help but rub up against people.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to like navigate through stuff. Like I remember being on a train there, and you're like, yeah, you're packed into that train in sardines, and you're like bumping people. Nobody says sorry. It's just kind of part of the day. I have to sterilize my clothes. But anyways. But just the amount of people just was beyond today, but it was again so amazing. I can't believe that the cosplays we saw today. Don't you think? Like just how like what were some of your favorite cosplays today? Because I could go on about it.
Well, like firstly, I mean, I just want to shout out the Uber drivers here in Phoenix. Like their vibe is just on another level. Like I don't think we've had one bad Uber driver. There was the Uber driver from last night coming back who I think just didn't speak English. So like he didn't really talk. But everybody else has been super dope. The driver to the con today had on his Captain America, shield shirt, was talking about you know, going to a con back in the day, all of these other things. How his brother-in-law like is it his brother-in-law or his brother or something like somebody he knew
Yeah.
was an artist, a comic artist, and was like helping animate for movies and stuff like. So I mean, it's weird. Like every driver we've had has had some tie to doing a con or something along those lines. So they always set the tone. We get there, we walk in, and I see um, a spider punk costume. Um, and
That was such a good
yeah, and it's the thing is like I love the character. I'm like I wish I could cosplay him, but I don't have hair to do you know
Yes, it was
the
like
hair
literally
thing.
like crocheted.
He crocheted
I was like, whoa.
the locks. And he had it on his head with the guitar and all that stuff. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro! Like right off the bat. And I think it's more because since Friday is a light day, I don't think the real cosplayers bring out the heavy guns
Yeah.
until like the weekend. So um we saw that. Um there were numerous Mandalorians that were just customized beyond.
That hot pink one was
Right.
really cool.
Oh yeah, Jedi's boy Jared, was it Jared? I believe.
It's Jared, yeah.
Yep. He runs a con here, the Uwu Con. It's more of a anime one, but so his Mandalorian thing kind of self promotes the Uwu Con that's coming up in November. So he like has like small little Uwu things mentioned on it. He has like Uwu little Pokeballs on the side or the little booby trap stuff. So shout out to all of them though because it was another hot day here in Phoenix. The AC was on blast, thank God. But like they would take their helmets off and you can just see them just sweating.
Dripping off. I mean, the sacrifices you making to cosplay
Right.
is real.
100%. But I will say the best cosplay I think I've seen today, and it's gonna sound like us being a homer playing favoritism, but Tony
Tony Stark.
in his blue and yellow Wolverine costume with the battle damage, the distress done to it. He shaved his beard into the Logan thing, gelled his hair up and I'm just like, bro, like yesterday you were just picture perfect Tony Stark.
Absolutely.
Robert Downey Jr. to the T.
Mm-hmm.
Come in today, you look just like Hugh Jackman. Like how do you do that?
How do you do it? It's like magic.
Yep. And we got pictures and we'll post them up. When we get done with this, we'll just upload all our pictures to Queens. It'll be like day 2. But like that's we knew we had to go see Tone. Like, because I remember he said he's debuting it at Fan Fusion. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, it's either today or tomorrow. Right. And when we got up to the booth and I saw the blue and yellow, I'm just like, bro, this is
he did it. Oh,
yeah.
He did it.
And I'm like, man, it'd be so cool if he had his claws. And then he just picks up the claws out of the thing. I'm just like, oh my God. Yes. But yeah, so that was the best one I've seen. Do you have one?
Best cosplay.
Was it in the tabletop land, or was it when we're coming back from lunch and you just
So any of you book nerds out there, so I am a book nerd at heart. I if you don't know what my tattoo is, it is a crown of thorn and roses, and the night court specifically. If you know, you know. And we're walking back from lunch, expensive ass lunch too. Mm-hmm. Throw that little burn in there. We're walking back from lunch, and Willie and I are walking. We're trying to follow Jedi and his daughter Boo, and I walk past this couple, and I immediately know who they are. Okay, and I hesitate, and I like kind of look at Willie, and I was like, Willie, wait. So I turn, and I'm like, Farah! I did.
She's not lying.
I'm not lying.
She's not lying.
And I felt so. I'm like, part of me was like, I felt bad, and then, but she like turns and like looks at me. I was like, I want a picture with you, girl. And she's like, okay. And she is her costume. It was just amazing. Like if someone's gonna cosplay, like she did such a great job. And the other guy was cosplaying Cassian from the books. And he had the the Illyrian wings and the armor and the power stones too. And I was just, they were so awesome, and they like took a picture with me. And I mean, she even had like the swirl like tattoos and everything from the books. And I was like, the cosplay I was doing today for Jennifer, I had long sleeves on, so I couldn't show her my tattoo. So I just kind of lifted up my sleeve. I was like, girl, look. And I had my favorite quote from the books on my forearm. And she's like, oh, that's so awesome. I was like, right. So that was I'm kind of partial, but that was my favorite cosplay from today.
Yeah. The reaction you had, like you saw her, you're like, I'm like, you want to take a picture with her? Just go ask her. Farah!
Like a part of me is like, oh gosh, I don't want to bother them. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not going to see them again. There's too many people here.
Right.
There's no way.
They were walking towards the exit. Like, I don't know if they're getting food or like leaving for the day. So you're just like,
I don't know if they're going to cosplay that tomorrow. Like some people cosplay something different every day. And
right.
Even Jenn and Nick said like sometimes they'll go and change into like a different cosplay
in the same day.
Yeah. The same day. So I was like, I can't take the chance. I got to do it now. So I did it. So that was Jenn being a fangirl today. Once again, I fangirled one of the Ghostbusters yesterday. So
yeah,
again, another one of my favorite movies. So that was super awesome. So yeah, that was my favorite cosplay.
Nice.
Yeah. Some other stuff. Oh, we did today. So our new awesome friends over at the Laughing Moon.
Mm-hmm.
They had some tabletop RPG kind of tables set up. I want to call them stations. Well, not really stations, but they our buddy Jedi had a panel that they did. Kind of back up a little bit. Jedi did a panel on kind of how to get your kids into playing tabletop RPGs, which I was like, oh yeah, you can get people that are like 4 years old. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was super shocked about that, weren't you?
Yeah, the preschool, like you can get preschoolers, but
Yeah.
it's just how you tailor it. They were just pretty much saying how you can set rules and just it doesn't have to be as strict as because I've never like the only tabletop RPG I played is the homebrew one that EJ's doing. But word on the street is that Dungeons and Dragons is pretty strict, like to the rules. Like these are the rules, X, Y, and Z, and then you know how it is when you try to give young kids rules like that. It's not going to be a good time. So it's just trying to tailor the rules, tailor the campaign, kind of limit the choices, like give them options, but limit them to this or this type thing and allow them to use their imagination moving forward because it's only going to help them as they grow older and get into more complex, situations and campaigns and stuff. So one of the panelists is a teacher. She said she had a kindergarten group running a small campaign. And I was just like, kindergartners out here running campaigns.
She said she had an RPG club and even I think her name was Ari, and then Nichole, who ended up being our GM later. But she was saying that she also taught like they call them different things in different areas, but basically it's special needs kids, like they have ADHD and stuff. And it was such a helpful panel because and one thing that was really shocking is I didn't really think there was going to be a lot of people. That place was packed. There were people standing up in the back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even they were like shocked. Like we talked to them afterwards and they're like, yeah, we didn't expect it to like have so many people. And I think that just shows that, back in the day, like, oh, D&D satanic. Like it was. That's the way it was back in the day. And it's people realize it's not, and it's a really creative way for people to use their imaginations and kind of escape, like whatever you use to escape. Like I used to use books all the time, and I have many more outlets now that I can use to kind of use my brain and use my imagination. And kids have to be taught in one way or another. And I saw after the panel, I realized I'm like, you can start them that young to like use their imagination and the different tricks and everything. Like I think it was Nichole was talking about, like, if they get upset about something that happens in the game, you can use something called Calm Corner, or kind of like the safe place that they have at school if they get upset about what happened, and you can kind of discuss it after they calm down. But it was really eye opening. Like I was and and again, like all the panel people up there were just so professional and so helpful. Like, and it was really cool because the audience would chime in on the answers and kind of share like some of their anecdotes and stories about the things that they do with their family with whether it be D&D or RPG or whatever they want to run. And I'm kind of listening to everybody talk, and I'm realizing I'm like, I'm not alone. Like there's so many other people that do this, and how it feels like somebody like something that you do, like, oh my god, I like it too. And to be in a room with that many people that feel that way and want their families to join in this, it was really cool.
Right? Yeah. I also thought it'd be kind of a niche panel, especially on a Saturday when you got big hitters like Dante Bosco coming in, Giancarlo. You know what I'm saying? It's just you got Shamik Moore from Spider-Verse coming through. So you're just like, man, these people probably be waiting to go sit in those. So we just step in there. It was one of the smaller, I guess, panel rooms, but I mean, it's still a good size. It had, I would say, like over 100 chairs in there.
Oh yeah.
Each row had about 20 seats, and it was like 7 rows back or something. So, But we're sitting in the front, supporting our boy Jedi and his homeboy Fitz, who does a radio show, and they also kind of run games and stuff like that. And he's moderating, and people are filling in. They do the hey before we start. I brought dice, a set of dice, for everybody here
Your butter.
with with the intention to ensure the kids were the ones getting the dice because this whole thing was kind of introducing them. So of course, you know how it is. Like, there'll be some adults there like, ooh, free dice. Let me get in on this, So at first, everybody's getting it, and he's like, hey, let's prioritize the kids. And as we all get our dice and sit back down, I look over towards the wall, and this is like not a bragging moment, but it's like a
let him brag, and I'm gonna gas you up before you even start. Before Fitz even finishes saying it, hey guys, you already have Willie. He's standing up like trying to give his dice away to these kids, and there's a couple of them that didn't have dice.
right.
Dude, you didn't even hesitate.
Well, it's like I looked and they like he's like, yeah, it looks like we're all out, and that kid was just like,
You could see it.
just like, oh man. And his dad's like, it's all right, we'll get some dice down. I'm like, do you need some dice? And he's just like, really, you don't? I'm like, man, I got 2 sets at the house, man. And then I just rolled up on another set today by doing it. It's like dice are not hard to come by around there, but if that was the kid's first set, because you're supposed to be gifted or given your first set, you can't go and just buy your first set, right? So I've been told. So that kid's day was just like made better. You can see his just smile. The dad was super grateful. So I'm glad I can kind of help him if he start his tabletop journey. That those will be the first sets of dice that he uses, and like I low key gifted it to him.
Do you think that was a core memory for him?
I hope it is.
I hope so.
Like I hope all those kids who are in there, their parents are like, yeah, we're trying to run a game night, like a family D&D, which I think is dope.
No.
I hope they all start doing that, and I hope like when he starts playing, he's like, man, dude, like I wouldn't be able to do this
right
if he didn't step up and give me his dice. So
like I think that may be like a core memory for that kid. He shows up and he's probably like super deflated, like, oh, I didn't get dice. And here comes Mace Windu. Because that's what Willie was cosplaying today. Mace Windu comes up and hands me a dice.
Mm-hmm.
And he may remember that forever.
I hope he does.
I'm serious. He may remember that forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that the some of those things like throughout the day that it's just kind of gives you that
Mm-hmm.
all right, I did that.
I
hope you remember that little buddy, so I'm going to remember you.
Yeah, I'm all about that, man. Like just children are the future. And I just have kids, and I would hope like if I was taking LJ and the dice were like kind of meant for children, and I'm looking at adults just scoop them up and just not stand up and
you jackass.
Yeah, bro, I just saw you get the fucking dice, bro. Like,
go buy your own.
But yeah, I hope it works out, and I seeing the kid's face and seeing the dad, like, man, it's a good look. I appreciate that. So, but no, but to see that room packed, he's like, hey, yes, gentlemen in the back, and I turned around and looked, and I'm just like, oh, he's in the back. Like it's a lot of people in here. Yeah.
People standing up in the back. I'm like, my God.
Yeah.
You can't even see the people talking because there's so many people behind you.
Right. But hearing the different experiences that they've been having, I think it goes back to what we kind of said in night one or day one at the con. It's just, and we talked about it at lunch. It's just one of those things where Monday through Friday for a majority of the year, you may love tabletop gaming, you may love comics, you may love anime, all of that stuff, but you can't fully nerd out on it like you want to at your 9 to 5 or daily, right? But then you come to a con and it's like you can be yourself to a lesser, like, mutants in the X-Men universe. They're just like, bro, I just can't use my powers like I want to. I can't do all of that. They go to Genosha, bro, they're living the fucking dream. They're just using their powers all over, doing whatever they want, living free.
Such a good analogy that you made when you said that. I was like, yeah.
That's exactly what a con is. All the nerds come together, and and you're just like, now I can just say whatever and do, and somebody's going to get me. Somebody's going to understand me, and like a judgment free zone type stuff. So so just being in that panel, like any panel, like you can't sit there and think like, oh man, it's only going to be a couple people show up, because the tens of thousands of people that are at this convention center, easily you can fill one of those. Yeah, you can fill one of those rooms, no problem. So I thought it was pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, it was it really said something seeing that many people turn out and wanting their kids to do that. It spoke volumes, I thought.
Mhm.
So continue on with my story. You know, we were talking to Nichole, and you know, she's a part of Laughing Moon with Todd and Griffin, and you know, we were talking to Nichole. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna start, you know, running a game, and I'm looking at my clock. I'm like, thinking, I'm like, oh, girl, I gotta eat. Oh man, I don't know if we're gonna make it. So, anyways, we end up, you know, showing up to the TTRPG area. I mean, we find him Jedi. You know, tell you, man, finding a needle in the haystack is like nothing. You know, he's like, oh,
I know where to found them.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's like, I know where they are. I'm like, oh, okay. So we find them, and you know, at this point, I know we're a few minutes late, so I'm like, oh yeah, we'll just watch. And she's like, oh, well, you guys can join in. Like, you know, we have room. We just kind of started going over our characters, and Will and I are both kind of like looking at each other, like checking in, like, yeah.
Yeah, we'll say that. Yeah,
sure. I'm like, all right, cool, if you don't mind. So we sit down, and they hand you, you know, they hand you like a stack of characters, and you can pick from them, and you know, pretty much all the characters are same level and kind of same abilities, you know, some nuances there. And I really wanted to try out Laughing Moon, because anytime somebody has a homebrew game, there's that extra love that you put in it. And I please don't misunderstand me. I don't mean to knock anybody that picks up any sort of like RPG book and runs a campaign. I'm not knocking you at all. You know, do it. As long as you do what you love, that's all that matters. But there's something about somebody's like, yeah, you know, I have this idea, this story in my head and in my heart, and I'm going to change things. I'm going to mold it, and I'm going to make my own. And that's exactly what Todd has done. So I'm like, all right, buddy, I'm going to dive into your world. I had a long conversation with him yesterday. I think I talked about, and let me dive in. I want to see what's in that big brain of yours.
Right.
I was not disappointed. Were you?
No.
I was not disappointed at all.
The GM, real quick, the GM, Nichole, like she said, very, very professional. Did a great job setting the tone. And the thing is, it's just kind of like, it's like a test run, like a demo that you would get, like you download on places. You know, hey, download a demo of this game. If you like it, you can buy it, whatever. So it's just a 2-hour quick run through, one easy objective, work as a team, get the objective, and out. So for setting the scene as quickly as she needed to do so we can get right into gaming, she did a great job.
And you know, not getting into the too nitty gritty of things, we had some interesting people at our table. We had some interesting people at our table.
Yes.
Did I get into it? They're not going to watch this shit.
Who's not going to watch it?
The people at our table.
You just assume that we're not going to grow to the point where they want to know?
All right, fine, I won't.
No, you can talk about it. They need to know about it.
All right, I'll tell them then. So, you know, most of the games that I've played, like pretty much all the games I've played, is my husband's game, right? You know, I'm not going to lie. I was nervous. I'm like, you know, I haven't played too much D&D, and it's vastly different from what my husband played. My husband has. And so, you know, we're sitting down, we're reading our characters, and I automatically notice this dude sitting nearby, and he's right out of the gate trying to establish dominance. You know,
I'm the leader of the group.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't come out and say it, but I mean, if you don't even have to be good at reading people's energies. I mean, he was blasting it like a solar flare. And I'm like looking over at him, and I'm like, I'm just gonna be like,
right.
I'm like, I'm kind of ignoring him. I'm trying to focus on like, my character sheet and like abilities, like all this stuff is like, obviously very like alien to and I'm kind of like sitting there like going like, read this. Oh, geez, what can I do? So, I'm reading it and I'm trying to get my bearings and we start playing and I'm like, okay, I can do this. And this fool over here is like, all right, guys, we need to do this. And I just kind of look over at him. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, my GM. And that happened several times. And at some point, our little friend over here understands that he's not just going to boss me around. I'm like,
right.
No, I don't think so, sweetheart. I'm like, you are not going to boss me around. I'm like, I have a brain and I'm going to use it. I'm going to properly play this fucking game.
Yep.
And guys, can I say, Willie, you, the only RPG game that you have played is Eric's, which you have picked it up so beautifully. Like when we first started playing with Willie, we're treating him with like, kid gloves and everything. And then we realized we're like, oh, take fucking gloves off. I'm like, Willie's got this shit. Willie just rocks it. And we sit down here, I'm a little nervous and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, I wonder how Willie feels. It's like, all right. I'm like, we're just going to do this. Willie's got it. Got it. Like we're playing, Willie's got ideas and he's doing stuff. And I'm just like, ooh, look at you go. Willie's going. Oh, look at him go. He played great, guys. It was awesome. And it's hard when you have like people at the table like, I'm leader. Oh, fuck you are. Bitch, no, you're not. Like we can kind of work as a team, but I'm still my own person. Like,
Right.
if I don't agree with your decisions, I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
And that's one thing that the GM was good with. I guess when you got to run short things like that where you're not sure, it's almost like if you go to a casino and you sit at a blackjack table, like you don't know who the fuck you're sitting at the table with, but at the end of the day, it's all of you against the dealer. And like sometimes you have the person that'll hit when the dealer's showing 16, knowing that they have to hit on a 16, but you're hitting and you're taking all the face cards that's going to cost the dealer to, like you're playing the thing wrong, you're messing everybody up. The thing with the GM, she would sit there, listen to this dude. I think we should blah, 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 all that other stuff. And then the GM would be like, are you guys all good with that? Giving us the opportunity to be like, well, I want to do this first before we go. And then she would let us explore that, So she was real quick with ensuring that everybody had an opportunity to have their voice heard instead of just one person bogarting and rushing the group.
And we went back and like immediately after we were done, I was like, Willie, we gotta go talk to Todd.
Mhm.
Like I have to go talk to Todd. So we're like walking through the whatever area that's called, can't remember. So we go and we find Todd and Todd sees us. He's like, oh hey, I'm like, dude, we played your campaign. He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. And he had just been talking to Jedi about Nichole. And I was like, can I expand on that? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, she's so professional.
100%.
Such an amazing GM.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, she had that table under control, but it was not like with an iron fist. She was always smiling. She was always very pleasant.
Mhm.
She was just, I mean, she was I don't know how else to describe it than like she was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was just good vibes the whole time. Good vibe. Like the purpose of this was to introduce you to the Laughing Moon RPG and like their world, and she did it like flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I loved it. So yeah, if you guys ever have a chance to pick up one of their books and learn about their lore, highly recommend it. Not gatekeeping here, like my husband's the best. Guys, there's so many different like RPGs out there. Check them out. Like we played this, highly recommend it. Like, but
I almost was just like, there's like 10 minutes left of our 2 hours. Like we take the thing back to our spot.
You kind of wanted to play that out.
Yeah, like so what's the next thing? Yeah. I mean, just give me so we bring this back and then read it and then what do we just risk our lives for out here?
What's in the tome? I want to know.
Read it. Yeah.
And it's again, I will never gatekeep on anything, and this is even one of them. Like,
Mhm.
if you guys ever have a chance, when I kind of dive into like another homebrew game, we recommend the Laughing Moon.
Mhm.
Let's see. Moving on with the day.
We had some interviews today.
We did. That's where my brain was kind of going. So we had some interviews today. Jedi. I think we've established that Jedi is nerd king of the entire state of Arizona. Would you agree?
He is like
Like nerd mafia.
no, it's like in politics how you have like the president or like the king or something, but then there's somebody who is behind the scenes actually running it. The king is just there for the face.
Like the producer.
Yeah, so like
Oh.
that's there, but Jedi is behind the scenes, like ensuring that the nerd machine keeps rolling in this city, if not the state.
You know, when you watch him do it, he doesn't even try. And to give you some substance behind that, like, you know, the whole time that we've been here, like we like Jedi is just like 100% like whatever you need, you know, God, come here, come here, come here. Got people for you to meet. And we can't walk 10 feet without somebody being like, Jedi, Jedi. And it is such an amazing thing to see. And it's like zero effort on his part. It's just like innate, like it's part of his genetic code, you know, that he just does it. And that's nothing to him. He's like, oh, my friend, oh, my buddy, oh, my buddy. And I'm just like marveling at him. I'm like, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't think I've known that many people in my life. And so some of the interviews that we did, you guys will see the interview later, as we met Marissa, the art of Ramona. So I meet her. She is so talented. The first thing I did is we walked up to her booth, and you see her sitting there, and she's sketching. Now, guys, I can't sketch to save my damn life, and this girl's just making it look so easy. I'm kind of like, you know, Jedi's talking to her, and I'm like, kind of, I was like watching her draw a little bit, and she kind of gets up, and I was like, wow, I'm already impressed. And you see some of the work that she's done before, and I'm not sure, I can't remember what she was working. She's really big into Mega Man.
Yeah, Mega Man, the Mega Man X series. So it's like Mega Man X and then Zero. So
and and I see some of the stuff that she's working on, and I'm like, immediately, I'm like, Jedi knows my style. I'm like, I want to talk to this chick. I'm like, she's awesome. And so we're trying to figure out like the logistics and everything. And I'm talking to her, and I'm like, this is going to be so easy talking to her. Like, she's awesome. And guys, you will see the interview. It was, I mean, I swear I asked her one question, and she like, how can I put it? Flourished like a flower. I poured a little water on her. I was like, hey, girl. And I see this time and time again when I'm going out to talk to somebody, and their energy is just so infectious. I mean, I just ask them stuff, and you can see that. I almost feel like I can see them beaming.
Yeah.
You know, they beam and they talk about like anybody. Like, how would you feel if somebody was like, ask you about something that you like absolutely love, like you just like geek out and just like, oh, I'm gonna talk about it. And they do. I feel like they just pull this plug and just like the water starts gushing, and they go, and I just kind of sit there. I'm just standing there, and I'm like, oh, look at you go. Oh my god, like, look at you go off on stuff. And she did that. And guys, you got to check out, she's so talented. You got to check out some of her art. And she put a lot of time in and went to art college for like 3 years. I think she said, right? 3 years. She's dedicated. She even learned how to do like the computer graphics art. And she said that she prefers like pencil and paper, right? She prefers that. But so talented. So if you ever need a commission on anything, like just hit her up. Art of Ramona. Marissa does great work. Did you notice anything with that interview with her?
No, it's just she was super timid, which I feel a lot of people would be because everybody's their own worst critic. Um, so everybody will look at them and be like, "This is amazing. This is amazing." She seemed very timid at first,
Right.
as if like she didn't feel what she did was worthy of us taking time out of our day to talk with her for the 5 minutes.
Ma'am.
It was just like, whatever you guys want. Like, I'm just, I'll just like,
Like not even realizing that she's a rock star.
yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that's because there's so many creators in there. Like,
Oh,
you can be an amazing artist, but like maybe 3 aisles down, it's like, oh, better renowned or better known artist from a comic or something, and people are like, oh, let's go hang out over there. So you're there, like, you know,
like, why don't we
like,
try?
yeah, like I'm not saying that's where she was at, but every like up and coming creator is probably just like, oh man, now they're flying in all these guys here where
Yeah.
everybody will want to see them. So it's and like we can relate to it, like trying to do what we're doing on our side, and somebody being like, yo, hey, I saw your episode you did with AZ Tony Stark. You guys did a great job. Like I love it. I told my friends to check it out.
Right.
Or hey, I saw your episode of Smoke Pit on YouTube. It was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. I told some other people about it. We're just like, oh shit, like, because to me, honestly, I think I just put it like I just do the shows, put them out there because I like to do them.
Right.
And then when somebody comes back, it's like, yo, this shit is hilarious. I'm just, oh,
Thank
what?
you.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's all right, but everybody has that. Like, I think it's cool that people um can check egos and be humble and stuff. But I think sometimes we overdo it. And I feel Marissa was overdoing it. But then after you were talking to her, I think you kind of hearing it come from somebody who's just not like, oh, you're just saying that because you're my friend. Because you don't know her from Eve. You don't know her from Adam or Eve,
I literally just met her.
First time just meeting her, and you see her work and you are thoroughly impressed with it.
Oh yeah.
And I want to talk to you and give you some exposure on our what platform we have. So I think that is what brought that out of her. She's just like kind of restoked that fire. When somebody compliments you on what it is you're passionate about, bro, it gives you that thing of dopamine, and you're just like, shit, like
Squirt.
maybe I am doing what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I'm kind of good at this shit.
Because it's so easy to get yourself discouraged, and but while you're talking, it made me think. I was like, don't be discouraged just because you feel like somebody's doing better. Might as well not even try. That doesn't mean you don't have to try. Just do it.
Yeah.
Like, when I first started doing this, I was just like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Oh God. But the more I do this, the more I realize I love it, and I'll continue doing it. And to see artists out there, like, don't quit. Keep doing it. There's people out there that are absolutely going to love your stuff. They just haven't found you yet.
Right.
So just keep reaching out. You'll find your people. Your people will find you eventually, and you will just grow from there. So again, shout out to Marissa, girl. You did a great job today. It's not easy having sitting there and just being the subject of like questions. you absolute rock star. There's another rock star today.
Was there?
There was. I talked to Sara. She is from the AZ Avengers. Amazing group, does charity work. Sara, beautiful person, beautiful heart. She's just one of those people that immediately when I get around her, I'm just like, oh my gosh, your energy is awesome. I was like, oh, I can hang out with you all day. So we're kind of trying to figure out the logistics of starting the interview, and we're just kind of chit chatting while we're getting set up and everything. And so we get started and start talking to her, and immediately when I first see her, I see her costume, and Jedi's like, she makes her all of her own stuff. I was like, really?
Jubilee, by the way, probably one of the best Jubilee cosplays I've seen.
Yes, I mean, down to like very specific details. I mean, the details that she put into her costume. I mean, even with like the glitter over like one of her eyes, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
it was kind of hard, like not to just kind of be looking her up and down. I'm like, oh. And the guys, she fabricated that all of herself, and you'll see during the interview, like, she what was it? She doesn't use like not stencils, but she does it all freehand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the human body is not perfect, and what she was telling me, she's like, the human body's not perfect. You know, centered on me, works for me, and she does it all. And it all started from a T-shirt that she loved that she wanted to fix.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I think that's probably my number one most favorite question to ask people. Why did you start this?
Yeah.
What was that moment where that was just like, that's the start point. That is day one. And she said that was because there's a T-shirt that she loved and she wanted to fix it. And from there, it grew from her sewing, and she started like cosplaying. And it was such an awesome story, don't you think?
Yeah.
And she again, just the whole interview. I mean, I just asked her a question, and it was just like this bubbling of happiness of just being able to like share her stories of just, you know, starting from here and just growing, and just like listening to her talk about that journey that she went on, like growing into cosplay. And she's got like, what'd she say, like 40 plus cosplays that she does. We'll have to watch the interview. I mean, I was just floored. I'm like, girl, what?
Because so when we're doing these interviews, like the person holding the camera, whether it's Jenn or me, like we can't hear what the interview is saying because it's so loud in there. That's why we're using those mics. So like when you see the videos, like you'll hear the conversation. But when she asked that question, it was like 14 or 40. So I'm just like, based on if you're doing like, you know, like either way, like that seems like a lot. Like if I have 14 different costumes, like that's a lot of costumes because they're not just like regular costumes. Like the work that these guys put into their cosplay, like 14 cosplay costumes is like, because you talk to AZ Tony Stark, like he probably has what 5 or 6 different types of Iron Man suits
Iron Man alone.
on top of Doctor Strange, on top of the Buzz Lightyear, on top of the Wolverine he just got, you know, on top of the other things he does, Indiana Jones or whatever. Like, you know, it's just like, man, that's a grip. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and but Sarah, I mean, I enjoyed talking to you so much today. I mean, and you know, like Willie and I understand, like, you know, this is a big deal.
Mhm.
Like Phoenix Fan Fusion, like anytime there's a con, like it is a big deal. Like when I ask people like, hey, can I interview you? I'm taking them away from like a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not like no small thing. And Sarah spent like a lot of time like coming and talking to me. And, you know, she's talking, I'm listening to her. And when we're done, I'm just like, wow, you know, we had such a great conversation. And I'm thinking, I'm like, gosh, girl, you took that time out of your day, one of the most busiest, important times a year, to talk to me.
Mhm.
And that, you know, it really meant a lot to me for her to like stop and talk to me. And she was so nice. And just hearing her talk about stuff, and just like her personality was just, I don't know how else to say other than amazing. Like she just has like such positive energy.
Mhm.
Like she's like one of those people like you just want to kind of stand next to you and hope you get like some energy. Like
Yeah.
you know, I can understand why she's such a great cosplayer, because you need to have like a almost like a certain personality to kind of do that professionally.
Yeah.
You gotta have that good vibe, and like, girl, you got it.
Mhm.
You got it. It rubbed off on me, and I was like geeked for hours afterwards. So yeah, we had some great interviews today.
Oh, we started the day talking to Kara Abare for Killer Creations. The morning, yeah, in the morning. So that was like the first thing we did. Got there, shouted out to the Comic Care guys real quick, checking for Jedi, because he's kind of dude that kind of, hey, you know, there's some people I want you to meet, and we're all for that, right?
Absolutely.
So, but I know we met with Kara day one. She was kind of running the shop on her own, the booth by herself, so she didn't have time to kind of step away. But we showed up today, and she had time. Talking to her, 20 plus years in the military, gets out, and I don't know if it was with the Uber driver today, but it's come up I think a couple times during the weekend here.
Mhm.
But Kara was like, I've always liked horror as a kid because I wasn't allowed to watch it. Then I snuck and watched one, and it was the John Romero. It's George Romero, right?
George Romero.
George
Yeah.
Romero's Dawn of the Dead, black and white joint, old school. And then the first iconic Hollywood monster, I guess, quote unquote movie, not monster movie, but horror villain that kind of gave her the "This is my boogeyman. This is the one I checked." Was a Halloween, not Halloween. No, it was Halloween. Mike Myers. Yeah. So she was like, I saw Halloween, and I'm just like, yeah, this is the dude I'm scared of now.
Yeah.
So, to give you like, you'll see in the interview, but like I've worked with her for 4 years back in Arizona at Luke, and she's the type when Halloween comes around and the commander's like, yo, if you guys want to wear a costume, you can wear a costume. Like she'll come in and like, the Jason Voorhees mask with the Michael Myers, she just mixes it all up. She loves everything about it. Christmas comes, we get to wear ugly sweaters. She's wearing a Friday the 13th holiday sweater. She is the horror person. She loves it, right? But she mentioned how she came about doing it. She was getting into, creating tumblers and doing things like that. But during COVID, everybody shut down. You got to stay in the house, things to do, keep yourself sane, because she's home with her kids. So she just started creating and mashing up things like whatever was popular. Mario, so she'll get Mario. She said one of her favorite designs is she'll take the Mario, and instead of the piranha plants, she gets the Audrey and the Seymour, not the Seymours, but what's the plant's name? Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors.
Audrey too.
Yep, and replace the piranha plants with those, and those will be like taking bites out of Yoshi or something like that, and she'll just throw that on the tumbler and stuff. I'm just like, that is crazy because
How creative is that?
yeah, she's like, there's small horror cons where I can do Jason and Michael Myers, but you come to Fan Fusion, they like superheroes, they like anime, they like all that stuff, but let's put a horror twist to it. So my horror people can still get love, and the anime people come by and be like, oh, that's dope. So, she has her booth there. She's been doing it for 4 years. So you'll see the interview again, all her. So like I said, every time we're going to do this, like when we put it out, you'll see in the description a link to the social for all the companies or all the people we talk to. So again, if you see them in the comments and you see the interviews, make sure to check them out. And if you see something, support them and let them know the Queen sent you. But outside of that, I think the other.
Well, I have one of her cups. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. Yeah.
So I actually didn't. I didn't realize it. So I was talking to my husband on the phone, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's where I ordered your cup." And I'm like, "Really? That's where you ordered the cup? Killer Creations? That's where you ordered the cup?" He's
Right.
like, "Yeah." It's like, "No way." So my husband ordered me a custom made Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind is I love Studio Ghibli, and it's the, if you guys are fans of it, it's the fox squirrel. I think it's Tito, I think is the fox squirrel's name, on a cup. And I remember he ordered it and he's like, I got you something. And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And he showed me and he's like, oh yeah. He's like, it's on the Willie's friends online. She's starting up a shop. And I was like, oh, cool. Love supporting, people trying to, start out and everything. Guys, this cup, I use it every morning. I'm not even kidding. And it's still going strong. I want to say it's been like easily a year that I've had this cup. And I absolutely love this cup.
Yeah.
Like it's great. I mean, every little like nuance that my husband asked, because he went through, he's like, yeah, I asked for this and this and this. She did it.
Yeah.
So if you think you're like, nobody can make what I want, she can.
Right.
She 100% can. Whatever you want, she will make it.
Yeah.
She's like, I can do it. And she actually kind of went through like her creation process. Was it resin? Like
Mhm.
she uses resin.
Yeah.
I think I heard her saying like she was even talking about like her like creative process, like using the resin and everything. And again, it's like one of those people where you ask them a question and they just start talking about something that they love, and you just kind of sit there and marvel at it.
Mhm.
And I learned so much, but by the things that people create. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, look at you in that big, beautiful imagination of yours, and look what you're
Right.
making. Like, girl, I mean, I don't know if you realize that. I mean, like, look what you do. Like, it's not just anybody can do that. So I don't ever get discouraged. If you do, just listen to
Mhm.
this and listen to your interviews. If you ever need a boost, you're amazing. So
And also shout out bonus points. She showed up today dressed as a splicer from BioShock. One of her favorite games and one of my favorite kind of scary horror games. So she had the splicer rabbit mask on, the blood splatter and stuff. But she toughed it out. It was cold as hell down there, and she had to change out of it. But shout out to her. So we have come to the. Unless there's anything you want to add, anything extra you saw, want to talk about?
I'm sure I'll think about it later.
Okay.
Okay.
Part of our show is like not even a tradition because it's the second review of the thing. So last night we were like, what's the best moment of the day?
Right.
Today we're gonna be what is the best moment and what is the worst moment. So you can start with worst. I would like me when I go, I'm gonna go with worst.
Worst. Okay.
And then I'm gonna end it with best.
Okay.
So I'll go with you first. What do you got? Worst moment of the day for you.
Worst moment might be that $20 brisket sandwich that I bought. It's a tie. Little ass sandwich. My God, I paid $20. It was delicious. Don't get me wrong.
The food trucks be food trucking. Jesus Christ!
I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, I'm like, shit, it's fucking $20. I'm trying to eat it slow so I taste every little like bit of flavor it has. And then probably that dude at the gaming table. And again, everybody's different, but I really do like don't try to come in here and try to be the leader. I'm like, let's just sit down and like game together and have fun. Like there doesn't have to be somebody always calling the shots. Like we can collectively like game like
and to add a little bit of insight on the person Jen's talking about a mid-50s, right? Mid-50s? Mid-50s is generous. Mid-50s is generous, right? My man pulls out his phone.
Dude.
Like he turns the phone over, right? Like so he pulls his phone out.
He's totally asking
pulls the phone out, turns it upside down, bam. So you see the backside of his phone.
Look at this.
Backside of his phone is a character from an anime, but it is drawn in a very risque manner.
It's like
and
Tits McGee.
So it's like I know the anime this character is from, and at no point in the anime does she ever dress like this. So it's not like he went and got one of the the damn near hentai type stuff or the fan service anime like a High School D&D or along those lines. So it wasn't a character drawn to look like that on purpose. He just went out his way to find a phone case with this character like that. He turns his phone over and like looks something up, and it's a Hello Kitty wallpaper. And then he has his drink thermos, which is also Hello Kitty, and he's wearing a kilt, but it's like khaki, like a dark blue khaki. So this guy's all over the place, and he sits at the table and he's like, "I think we'll just go ahead and make haste to the town." Question: will it harm our steeds if we go double time? And like, what the what? Who? Will it harm our steeds? Like, bro, just speak.
For a second, I'm
like, are our horses gonna get tired? Like, bro, like, what do you steeds?
Oh, horses got it.
Will it harm our steeds if we press faster to this village? Like, bro, it's been like 10 minutes, bro. You harm our steeds? Yeah. What effect will it have on the horses if like just speak English? But that's just me. I'm a simple guy, I don't run around call horses steeds and cows heifers, like will the cattle survive? Like, is the cow gonna be all right? That's me. That's the type of player I am. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess that guy was
he's extra.
He
Yeah, that was worth.
That was a tie. The brisket, like,
The brisket was purely for entertainment only because I just wanted to talk about it again.
okay.
Fucking sandwich
All
is
right.
$20. What? What's yours?
Worse.
Yes.
Um,
I want to see what he says because he
how much time is that?
never fails
6. Never fails to what?
to surprise me. I'm like, really? That's your
So at this con, everybody's talking about this soda that's just fucking out of this world, right? Out of this world soda. Like people line up for years to get this soda, right? What's it called? Wild Bill's Craft Beverage Company, right? So yeah, like they talked about it day one. I didn't see it. Saw it day two, way up against the wall. Line was long. People waiting to get this soda.
What is that?
And I'm just like, we got things to do. I'm not waiting in this line. So after we do the tabletop game and we come down, like she said, talks with Todd over at Laughing Moon. Then I'm just like, hey, I want to cop one of them sodas. Actually, we just wanted the soda because we saw the cups that people were walking around with. And I'm just like, yo, that cup is dope. Like, yeah, that cup is dope. Like, I would love to have one of those. So we get in line and get up there. And we're just like, yeah, so, we want one of these cups. She points to this cup, the cup I have, right? She's like, that's 35. The cup Jen has is 45. And then there's another cup that's 55 and another one that's 75. So we're just looking at these things like, well, goddamn.
I'm surprised.
But now, like, I have to taste this soda because people are just like, bro, the soda's so delicious. The soda is the best. And I'm just like, I need that. Like, I don't know if I'm like, when's the next time I'm gonna fly down here to, like, I'm here now. Let me try this soda. Right. So we get them, and then they're like, do you want the top and the straw? It's like, yes. That's an extra, what, $10 or so?
Well, the way she said it was weird. When she's like, this is 55, 65, 75. And I'm like, the straw's like $55? Like, I don't know.
No, because the straws were inside a different type of cup.
Yeah,
but the way she pointed at it was like, damn, the straws are $55. Yeah.
$55. Like, is it made out of gold or maybe copper?
Vibranium. But so actually, like when you look at our cups, we were supposed to cheers before we start, right? But we messed that up. When you look at on the screen right now is $100 worth of drinkware.
Yeah.
$100 worth of drinkware, by the way.
But so tomorrow we can go in, pay a small fee, go up to that drink station and get free refills all day. And I can take this next year if we go.
Mm-hmm.
Pay a small fee. So this is like small fee refills every time there's
endless soda in Arizona.
And their soda is made from pure cane sugar.
So I mean it's good.
It's good.
But like like even in my I was like, this is good, but this is a lot. And you got that big ass cup. I'm just like, man, I'm glad you Jedi was able to help you out with that shit.
Yeah, because I was like, Jedi, you want some? Because I'm like, I drank it and I was like, whew.
Yeah, but I think that was the worst moment where I was just like, what's up? And like when it was all said and done, this was like $46. Like now I got an everyday cup that I'm gonna use because I'm gonna get my $46 worth out of this thing. So
I expect pictures
of
you using that cup.
100%. You see, I'm already using it now.
I know. You're like, I'm gonna rinse this cup out and use it, and I was like, oh, that's a good
idea. Yep.
That's fantastic.
Yep. Drink is still cold, still has ice in it. It's delish. All right. Best moment for you. What you got?
Best moment. Man. Best moment. It's not a single moment. Is that okay? Can I do that?
It's your show.
Ooh. Oh, it is. Yeah. So, best moment. There wasn't a single best moment. I think interviewing people. I know we joke about my social battery and everything, but interviewing people, my gosh, it's just seeing people in their element and talking about somebody that they love just is, I don't know, energizing. Is that the best way to put it? It's like energizing. I mean, again, I marvel at it. I stand there and I'll ask him like a question, and it's just like, oh, you want to know about that? I'm like, yes, I do. Let's talk about it. Tell me about it. I want to know. And I mean, honestly, I genuinely do. I'm not just standing there like, hey, how'd you get started? I genuinely want to know. Like, I see you doing your thing, and you're doing this awesome job. Like, how did you start? And their stories never disappoint. Their enthusiasm is just infectious. Like, I'm telling you, these people, they're like, I don't know what you can compare it to, like a star. I mean, they just glow, and when they start talking about it, it just spreads everywhere, and I love it. And so that was my favorite moment, is whenever I talk to people and they start telling me the things like they love and how they got started, and just that journey, like when they're kind of walking me through it while we're talking. It's just I honestly, it's kind of addicting. Like listening to people talking about that. Like, I absolutely love it.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you? What was your favorite moment today?
I know we already talked about seeing that kid's face, that little guy's face, getting the dice. I think that panel,
Yeah.
because you're sitting there and you got kids who are, because there was one kid behind us who's like 15, who's just like, I've been playing in a couple weeks I'll be running my first campaign and X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, bro, that is fucking dope. Cause like I said, I'm new to this, but seeing the work that Eric puts into being the GM for Fallen Star, and hearing the work that Todd's put in for doing Laughing Moon, and listening to the the adventures of the other members in there who have been GMs and DMs for numerous campaigns, and to hear him as a 15-year-old like, hey, I'm about to give it a shot. I think
we all clapped.
Yeah,
Everybody clapped.
right. And the whole hey, my daughters are 6 and 4, and I'm trying to figure out a way to start getting them going, and all this other stuff. So I think just like it's probably going to always be the best one. There's always a moment where the community of, I say nerd community, but I think this day and age, like, saying nerd is not an insult anymore. So when you say the nerd community, I'm trying to cover the gamut of everything, because as we're walking to the panel, you walk past a panel that's about to start, and it's like LG, LG B. I forgot all the others.
You in the media.
Yeah, like or
Panel.
in the nerd, yeah, like acceptance of that in the con community, like. And then you walk past another one that talks about like just the very niche things, and you're just like, man, I don't know if anybody's going to show up to these things. And like you walk past and room's packed.
Room is packed.
It's like you're like, people are not going through things, but they have questions like, man, dude, like I really want to help my kid get into this, but ADHD, or they're on the spectrum for something. I don't know how to do it. And then you go in that room and there's like 2-3 other parents that are just like, hey, I deal with kids that have, these disabilities, and these are kind of the things I do. And then these parents are like, thank you. Like, it's not just me struggling trying to get this going on. And just the supportive community that you find here at cons is just amazing. So being at that panel and seeing that is always a plus. And bonus plus is seeing Jenn actually like come into her own with these interviews, and she's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Thanks.
it gets me going, like how she can not turn it on and turn it off, because that sounds like she's just fake at the moment. But it's like a genuine, like, she'll ask that first question and she gets that answer back, and she's just like,
it's on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on.
Yeah. And so like seeing that and seeing it grow from day one to where we're at now, not fan fusion day one, but day one of her starting to show to where it's at now, it's a good thing. So it's always good to see people improve and get better at what they're passionate about. So That was best moment number 2 for me since you had to.
Thank you. Can
Yes.
I tell you my secret one? The one I told you before we went on air.
Did you have one?
I did. That's what Jedi said.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I have a secret one. So this is like pre-air because we kind of chit chat a little bit, like, hey, we want to talk about. All right,
Yep.
we want to talk about this. All right, cool, let's go. So Willie and I always like to talk about our best moments of the day and worst moments of the day, and I think our worst moments were spot on. My best moments were really hard, but probably my one that I wasn't going to talk about. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll talk about it. Jedi paid me probably one of the nicest compliments. Is I'm doing these interviews and with people, and again, I genuinely love it. Genuinely love talking to everybody, and we're done and we're walking through there, and Jedi's walking in front of us, and he turns around and he's like, Jen, what's up? Killed it. Huh? He's like, oh my God, you're amazing. Look at you talking to people, your energy. I was like, my energy? Dude, no, it's them. I'm like, oh my God, do you listen to him? He's like, that's you. I was like, what? And Willie has said this to me too. And it sounds kind of like arrogant, but it's honestly, it came as like a total shock. I didn't expect to hear that. I was like, what? And you know what? If I do that, I'll spread it. Like, if you need somebody to just kind of support you, and you need that, that little spark that you had, you need somebody to pour gasoline on it. And like, I'm your girl. Like, show me what you got. Let me look at it. Dude, I'm just amazed at the things that people can do. And I love it. I loved interviewing the people today. And I thought it was cool that, maybe I had a hand in it. I didn't feel like I did. I just asked people a couple questions and they talked.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I viewed it. So Jedi, again, 1,000 shout outs to you, my friend. I know we got another day. I'm super stoked about tomorrow.
Yeah, it's civilian close day tomorrow.
Oh, wait. We gotta tell them. Guys, every cosplayer in this entire world. A shout out to all of you. the 2 days that we've been cosplaying. I mean, it's
your boy couldn't have picked a worse rotation of costumes for Arizona pre-summer. Bro, like day one, Nick Fury all black, turtleneck, trench coat, cargo pants, boots.
Every time I wanted to complain, I turn and look at him and say, I'm not gonna complain.
You're like, oh my God, my back is sweating. I'm just like, nah. Like, really? I'm fine.
I'm totally dry. Yeah.
Just I got fans in my coat. I'm fine. And then today, Mace Windu shit. So it's like burlap sacks just slung over me. So good. It's like the Jedi have like the most. It's like, what is the point of these things?
For movement and warmth, I guess. Like,
no, it's so like you put the shirt on and then there's like 2 slashes. I was telling her, like, I opened the bag, I'm like, the fuck are all these slashes, these strips of fabric? Oh, these just get slung over your shoulders and just put like, for what? It's the most impractical uniform. They come flying off when you're fighting. Yeah, it's fucking. But yeah, so just knowing if I come back out to kind of look at costumes that are like short sets and shit,
linen, something.
No, just short. Like if I can't do shorts, bro, I don't want it. I don't fucking want it. I don't want it. But so then we're just like, because I'm glad we're just like, yeah, we'll just cosplay for 2 days and then ride it out. And I'm just like, bro, Sunday could not get here fast enough.
Man, and like yesterday wasn't bad. I think it was more like my feet hurt yesterday, but my costume like wasn't bad. And today I was Yennefer. Oh man, I'm like putting it on. I'm already sweating. I'm like, this fabric is like thick. and I had to wear contacts today because being Yennefer, I needed purple eyes, which honestly, those contacts, like they look a little demonic. I might try to get another like subtle pair of like purple contacts. But I'm wearing the purple contacts today. You know, my costume's like not uncomfortable. It's warm.
Mhm.
But man, those contacts, I mean, they get dry and uncomfortable like
Mhm.
after a while. Like I don't know how people like, oh, I don't even feel them. I was like, really? Because I'm like low key like, is anybody looking? I'm like, oh my God. I guess my eyes aren't very like good at like self lubricating, but the point is that the people who do cosplays, it's dedication. Like sometimes it's not comfortable being in these outfits all day.
Mhm.
Even if they put the time into the fabrication to make them as comfortable as possible. They might not be comfortable, but you do it, whether it's for charity for kids, or that one person. I'm like, hey, it's you, and it's
Yeah.
like, it is me. Oh, it's so worth it. Like Sarah right off the bat, from AZ Avengers, she's like, are you Yennefer? And I was kind of like, hey, what? You recognize me? Yeah. 'Cause I'm wearing Yennefer from the Witcher video games. And again, I told Willie, I was like, unless they're a gamer, they're not going to recognize me. And nobody really did. But I think what was Sarah did, and then and then the guy next to us doing the RPG, and he actually had really cool Witcher dice. Like I turned and looked at him, he goes, "Are your eyes purple?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you're purple." Are you Yennefer? Yeah.
How about old buddy with the
one with the
goatee that looked like he came from the capital city in Hunger Games? Oh,
yeah, that one. Is he from District 1?
I'm like, bro, the angles on your fucking goatee are bananas, bro.
That's impressive.
It is.
Really?
I'm like, what is he? Did you do that for a cosplay?
So yeah, that was day 2 of the Phoenix Fan Fusion. Again, to kind of all over day 2, again, I have to say, being around your people, like being around other people that are into what you're into, is just energizing. Like you can just be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. I guess it's just, I guess it just like amazes me because it's such a novel thing for me. It's like, wow, like I feel like if my battery is getting low, I'll just go to one of these things. And I was like, nerd power.
Now I'm back in the game.
I'm back, baby. That's kind of how it felt like. You kind of get through and going through the motions, and you're like, all right, I'm doing this. It's kind of like when you're running and you kind of hit that runner's wall. That's kind of where you get at sometimes, and gone.
Yeah, 100%.
Me too.
Yeah,
I feel that too. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to us ramble on about our day 2. Appreciate you watching, and we'll be getting those interviews and pictures and some contact information to the vendors that we talked to today. And well, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Hopefully a bit earlier. Maybe. I don't know. We can start this about 10:30.
Something like that. Yeah, just about. All right. Good night.
Bye. Bye.